All right, so I got this comment here. I'm going to read from a different screen as it's a longer comment, but your experience is valid. I don't think we can ever fully eliminate church from any human society because spirituality is necessary for life. You know, it doesn't have to be from church, but for most people, I think they get it from church. To get rid of churches, we would need a better way to practice spirituality. I don't know one myself. So I think with that, it really touches into how it is we tie church and spirituality together, right? Like somehow you can't have spirituality if you don't have church. And I don't think that's correct at all. There are plenty of people who can practice spirituality without having to have church. What's that old saying? The split a stone, there I am, to that degree, like God is everywhere. If you truly believe in God, you don't need a gathering. You don't need a church to have God, right? And that's the thing, is that a lot of us that aren't into the churches understand that if there was a God, then practicing your spirituality isn't a gathering group process. It's something you do daily, something you do by showing good to others, not this current situation we have. So there are plenty of people who practice anything else other than Christianity, and stuff that are able to be spiritual and do a better net positive and don't have to have these gatherings, right? And so it becomes a problem that the churches are creating the issue. They always have been. So how do we let people have spirituality? We get rid of churches. Because if you're going to church because you need spirituality, the churches aren't giving you spirituality. The churches are giving you morality and a warped sense of morality, right? Because the church is telling you what your right from wrong is. It's not telling you how to be spiritual. It's telling you what you should believe and what you should do. And that's not spirituality in itself. That's just dictating someone's beliefs. Cults can do that. And again, that's how a lot of these churches are ran, right? Cults, they take people's money, tell them what to think, and then those people go out and practice that upon the world. So no, I think that we need to reinforce people to be spiritual, but we need to be asking people better questions than how do you worship. We need to be asking questions like, what makes you spiritual? Why do you feel spiritual? Those things. Churches aren't asking those questions because it would require their congregation members to think. Contrary to popular belief, being spiritual and being able to think can happen. In fact, those two things reinforce each other. Spiritual people think a lot. They have a lot of introspection. They think about the world around them. Religion, on the other hand, negates thought and keeps people closed. You can't think to enjoy church. As soon as you start thinking, the principles of your church start falling apart. And that's all churches. I don't care who you are. Now, that is not to say we can't have spiritual leaders. That's possible. But that's a whole nother topic, right? How do we have a good spiritual leader? And a good spiritual leader, in my opinion, is someone that would nurture people's beliefs, would show them that, hey, maybe this negative train of thought is not good, and would explore that with people, but not dictate to them, right? There's a difference between saying, oh, you like homeless people? You're horrible, and going, but why do you dislike homeless people, right? Which should lead to a line of questioning and thoughts that help people understand that thought process of disliking homeless people is wrong. And I use that example because in my experience, most church-going people look down upon the homeless. They always have some sort of excuse. Oh, they did this to themselves. They're, on the extreme of it, it's they've wronged God. That's why they're homeless. That's not the type of thinking there should be there, but that's what there is. So again, how do we get people to enjoy spirituality? We let them enjoy it by removing the restriction that the church is. So anyway, that's just my perspective. I do thank you for the comment. I thought it was great, and it really did open up a new line of thinking there, and that's what we want, right, is open discussion on things. So I do appreciate it. Anybody else, do you have any thoughts on this, and what's your opinions?